very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Sports Tonight. It's the last session of Sports Tonight for the week. Promises to be exciting, from field, as always. My name is Toyi Ibitoye. Tonight, we will, of course, spend a lot of time to review all that happened yesterday. We're talking about the 2013 Glo CAF Awards. And for a long time, Nigerians refused to believe what happened, particularly towards the end of the show when the most prestigious awards were announced. That's the award for the African Footballer of the Year, actually the top prize of the night. But we'll talk about it on the program tonight, later on, and we will see, was there some conspiracy, was it politics, was it just that Mikel isn't the best? We'll talk about all of that, of course, on Sports Tonight. And of course, we'll be expecting you to join us in this discourse via our platforms as we go along on the show. We will also, on the program tonight, do a preview. We promised you a couple of days ago that we'll be doing a preview of the third edition of the African Nations Championship. That's the tournament put together by CAF for countries and players in their own league. It's starting tomorrow in South Africa. And the Super Eagles of Nigeria are there for the first time. But then will it be first time and first time lucky for the Home Eagles? We'll also discuss it on the program this Friday. Of course, in between all of these, we'll talk about the girls. The under-20 girls have a battle on their hands against South Africa tomorrow. That's the race for the 2014 FIFA Women World Cup that will be taking place in the next couple of months. We'll talk about it as well on Sports Tonight. So we are in for a swell time. We will list all that we've talked about with some basketball. The NBA is also moving smoothly. We will highlight all of that for you as we go along on Sports Tonight this Friday. But let's start on the sober note because this is becoming very worrying. And I'd like to start on that note because it's close to 60 days now that the father of Super Eagles defender Chikelu Eluenusi went missing. And initially it looked like a bad joke, and we felt that it was going to be back in just a matter of days. It's now 60 days. Pa James Eluenusi, over 80 years old, was kidnapped, and up till now, no word. After ransom was paid to the kidnappers, no word around the missing Pa James Eluenusi. And the family of Chikelu Eluenusi, former Super Eagles defender, I mean, they are worried, expectedly worried, and they're despondent. We want to start by saying we hope that all those who are involved in all of these things will have a rethink, and I hope that nothing bad hasn't happened to Pa James Eluenusi. Just to start. And of course, also, bad news came in from Kano, former Kano Pillars chairman, and he was a member of the Interim League Management Committee a couple of years ago under Chief Oyuki Obaseki. Mohammed Sani Usman, also a top official in Kano, passed on today. So that's sad news. Kano, as we speak, is in mourning mood, mourning successful sports administrator who has done his bit and has passed on. All right. So on that, on those sober and really thought-provoking note, we'll start off Sports Tonight today. But we'd like you to be a part of what we're doing. So we want you to take advantage of our platforms on Sports Tonight. You know how we do it on Facebook, on Twitter. Go on to your tablets, your phones, and try to be a part of all that we're doing on Sports Tonight. So please get active. We'll try to make it as interactive as possible. So we expect you, of course, to take advantage of our feedback mechanism on Sports Tonight. And those, I'm sure, will be showing on your screen any moments from now. So you can just go on, if you're watching us for the first time, watching us online from across the world, please go on and take advantage of all that we offer you on Sports Tonight. And let's make Sports Tonight this Friday as interactive as possible. All right? So that's how we started off. We'll go on a short break. When we return from the break, I have a special guest in the house. And I will introduce to you those starting off the show with me this Friday. Join us again. All right, thank you for staying with us. It's time for us to move on Sports Tonight. And once again, I'd like to remind you that you can be a part of all that we're doing. Take advantage of our platforms and keep those tweets coming. Let's make this as interactive as possible. What do you feel about all that happened last night? Mikel missing out once again. Nigeria will have to wait a little longer to produce Africa's best footballer. Talk to us about all of those things and let's know what reasons you would have to defend whatever you put out on Twitter. So please, let's go along on the show. But before we go any further, let me quickly introduce to you those with me on Sports Tonight. Starting from my very immediate right is a special guest, and he's joining us on Sports Tonight for the very first time, and we hope it won't be the last. Mimi Fawaz.
Thank you very much for having me on your show, Toyin.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Mimi Fawaz is based in the United Kingdom, sports journalist, and is happy to have a feel of Mimi on Sports Tonight.
I'm very happy to be here. I'm sure it'll be very exciting being here with the both of you tonight.
Yeah. And of course, Yemi Adebayo, gentleman Yemi Adebayo is also on the show. Yemi, I mean, I was updating you yesterday.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Even though we missed out on the big one.
We were winning all those awards.
Like we said, near clean sweep. But what mattered most, what would have been the icing on the cake, we missed out on it. We've waited for 13 years. I mean, 1 more year. My worry is that you don't really see a Nigerian that might just, the way the year started, you're probably not seeing a Nigerian that might enter into that top 3 bracket. But we're hoping that when next this award is done, a Nigerian will.
And interestingly, the 2014 Glo CAF Awards will be in December. So a good performance at the World Cup could be very key.
Yeah.
It's the reverse of what we had this year. This year, we started with the Nations Cup. Before June, a lot of people had forgotten about how we played and what influence some of those key players had at the Nations Cup, and they were looking at their club form.
Yes.
But this year, they are playing in their clubs right now, and they will play till May. Then the World Cup will come in, and the influence of the World Cup should carry us till December when we'll have the award. So if we do well at the World Cup, maybe semi-final, maybe final, and Mikel maybe scores a couple of goals, Emenike also scores a couple of goals, it could be clean sweep for Nigeria.
Yes, I know. I was there last night. You were there as well at the awards show. I think going in, a lot of people knew it was going to be very tight. It was always going to be between Yaya Toure and Mikel. That's probably why Didier Drogba didn't turn out, because he knew it was between the two of them. And I think a lot of people were hoping that it was going to be Mikel. And when it was announced that it was Yaya Toure, I'm sure you sensed it. There was a lot of...
The last time I felt that way was 2000, when we lost the Nations Cup final in Lagos on penalties to Cameroon.
Yes, it was that silence in the room, and people were in shock that Mikel hadn't been announced for the African Player of the Year. So, but it went to Yaya Toure, and as you said, I really thought this would be the year for Nigeria. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, when next we'll have a Nigerian who'll pick up that award.
Okay, we'll talk more about that later on, but let's just quickly look at what is also happening, and something that is also very crucial. 2014, Yemi, the build-up to the World Cup is now all about how ready Brazil will be for the World Cup. It's no longer about how teams are going to get prepared, how teams are going to be ready. It's about how Brazil will be ready with the stadiums that will be used for the World Cup, with the workers and the state of Brazil in terms of unrest and all of those houses that will be demolished around some of the playing areas. That's what is dominating the headlines. And last week, Blatter came out and put the icing on that by saying he's afraid Brazil are falling short of on all fronts. But there's a turnaround now.
Dramatic U-turn.
Eighth wonder of the world.
He's telling us now that he knows Brazil will be ready. And I'm surprised, because last week he was telling us these guys are not ready. He has never seen a host that has been this in terms of
and that has had the highest number of years to prepare.
7 years to prepare.
They knew, but now he's saying, I can assure you Brazil is going to be ready. He went as far as telling us even Italia 90, there was a particular stadium, the seats were not ready. They were doing the seats a day before the match, and well, Jerome Vac had issues like this with Brazil. That was a dramatic U-turn. Now Sepp Blatter. Well, a lot of people felt he just said that to shake them up and ensure that they're on their toes. Usually FIFA would not withdraw the hosting rights.
Anyway, it's too late to do that. I'm not sure anybody is ready to take the hosting rights at this point.
With less than 6 months
to the World Cup
to go. But whether or not he's just trying to douse the fears, I don't know. Because if last week somebody was not ready, I don't know what you've done between last week and now to make you ready. So
okay, let's listen to Blatter himself talk about Brazil 2014 and the turnaround that Brazil actually could be ready for the World Cup.
all the criticism and all the, let's say, people say that will be not good or whatever. It will be the best ever World Cup, because we are in the continent which is called Brazil. 200 million people. They are all footballers. They like football. And this World Cup coming back after since 2050, and now we are in 2014. It is 64 years, 64 years later. I have to say, then everybody is expecting, and the football has changed. The rhythm of the football is different. The competition is different. We have 32 teams now. At that time, there were not even 16 present. There were less than 16. And the Brazil will all the population of Brazil. They cannot go all in the stadium because it's not enough space, not enough seats available, but it will be a great, I'm sure, a great World Cup. And I know that at the end everything will be ready. We have had competitions, the one in Italy, for instance, where the day before the stadium had even to put some seats inside the stadium was not ready. But here we will be ready. I am sure that in March all the stadia will be ready, and we have time enough to make some rehearsals therein. And this modern stadia, I'm sure they will respond to the expectation of the spectators, but also of the actors, which are the players.